Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us, watching news analysis on Politics and Business TV Abuja. Many thanks for joining us. On today's headlines, 6-month suspension, Natasha heads for court as NBA and others knock the Senate. Literary icon Mabel Shegun dies at 95. Rivers crisis, police vow to crush militant threatening oil production. On business news, Nigeria pays highest airfares in Africa, says the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority. And on the foreign space, Trump expands exemptions from Canada and Mexico tariffs. Details shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you once again for joining us on today's program. My name is Idris Amina. Now the details. The Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan will challenge in court the 6-month suspension slammed on her following her face-off with the Senate President Godswill Akpabio over certain arrangements in the Red Chamber. The local counsel to the Kogi lawmaker Victor Giwa dismissed the Senate's resolution as a violation of a court order. Giwa spoke to the media on Thursday after the Kogi lawmaker was suspended by the Senate and walked out from the National Assembly complex. The Nigeria Bar Association and opposition parties similarly berated the Red Chamber for not giving Akpoti-Uduaghan ample time to present her sexual harassment complaints against Akpabio. Giwa said the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges acted in violation of a court order that allegedly restrained it from taking further action on the matter pending the determination of a motion on notice. He argued that if Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan had not sought legal intervention, the suspension might have stood. The lawyer also expressed conviction that with the court order explicitly directing the Senate to hold disciplinary actions, the decision to suspend her was null and void. Giwa further revealed that legal action would be taken against those responsible for violating the court's directive. And in the meantime, a renowned Nigerian novelist and writer Mabel Shegun has passed away at the age of 95. The demise of the tennis champion, a broadcaster and diplomat was announced by her family in a statement late Thursday. According to the statement, Shegun, a retired administrator, died in the early hours of Thursday. The statement added that her funeral arrangement will be announced later by the family. The novelist left behind a legacy of remarkable achievements and contributions to Nigerian society. Born on February 18, 1930, Shegun was a true pioneer, breaking barriers throughout her illustrious career. Shegun attended University in Nigeria, graduating from the University of Ibadan in 1953 with a degree in English literature, Latin and history. This achievement marks the beginning of a distinguished academic and professional career that would take her to the various parts of the country and beyond. And in another news, tension in Rivers State have escalated as a militant group, the Niger Delta Rescue Movement, threatened to attack oil installations in response to the ongoing political crisis and the alleged withholding of the state's federal allocation. The group has also issued a warning to non-indigenous in the states, urging them to leave for their safety as the claimed hostilities were imminent. In response, the Rivers State Police Command vowed to crack down on any threat to national security, insisting that no group has the monopoly on violence. The Commissioner of Police, Olugbenga Adepoju, assured residents that security forces were prepared to contain any disruptions, warning that law enforcement would not tolerate attempts to destabilize the state. Adepoju dismissed the threats by the militants on others, saying the police were equal to the attacks. The state has been experiencing a political crisis since 2023, while the latest Supreme Court judgment validating the 27 lawmakers loyal to the former governor and Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, created another round of political crisis. The Supreme Court on Friday, February 28, 2025, affirmed the legitimacy of Martin Amehule-led House of Assembly and nullified the local government election held on October 5, 2024. The Apex Court also ordered the seizure of all allocations to the states, asking Fubara to resubmit the budget to the Assembly. You're watching news analysis on Politics and Business TV. We'll go on a quick break and more news when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's head on to some business news where the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority has complained about the treatment meted out to Nigerian passengers by some international airlines, insisting that Nigerians cannot be paying the highest fee across Africa and still be maltreated. The aviation regulator said Nigerians pay a humongous amount to fly more than any other African country. The Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection of the NCAA, Michael Achimugo, disclosed this at a meeting with the management team of Rwanda Air over prolonged refund allegations leveled against the airline by many Nigerian passengers. He complained of the airline staff unprofessionalism, which, according to him, was evident in the manner of their approach. In a video of the meeting, which was held in Abuja on Wednesday, the NCAA publicist told the airline that he understood that airlines treat Nigerian passengers shabbily, thinking the passengers do not have so many options. It was gathered that Rwanda Air has a reputation for difficulties with refunds. Passengers often complain about lengthy processing times and challenges with getting refunds for cancelled flights. However, both domestic and international Nigerian airlines in Nigeria have been found culpable of delays in refunding the ticket fees to passengers after flights are cancelled. And now let's head on to the foreign space where U.S. President Donald Trump has signed orders significantly expanding the goods exempted from its new tariffs on Canada and Mexico that were imposed this week. It is the second time in 2 days that Trump has rolled back his taxes on imports from the U.S.'s two biggest trade partners, measures that have raised uncertainty for businesses and worried financial markets. On Wednesday, he said he would temporarily spare chemicals from 25% import levies just a day after they came into effect. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum thanked Trump for the move, while Canada's finance minister said the country would in turn hold off its threatened second round of retaliatory tariffs on U.S. products. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said on Thursday morning he had a colorful conversations about tariffs in a phone call with Trump. The U.S. president used profane language more than once during Wednesday's heated exchange, according to U.S. and Canadian media reports. Trudeau told reporters that a trade war between the two allies was likely for the foreseeable future, despite some targeted relief. Trump adding that the two countries would work together to stem the flow of the opioid fentanyl from Mexico into the U.S. and curb the trafficking of guns going the other way. The cargoes from the duties applies to goods shipped from under the North America's Free Trade Pact, the U.S.-Mexican-Canada agreement, which Trump signed during his first term. And now let's connect with Aroko Tom for sports updates.
Good afternoon and welcome to P&B Sports News. I'm Aroko Tom. In the Europa League rounds playoff, AZ Alkmaar proves themselves in a 1-0 victory against Tottenham Hotspur after an own goal in the first half, which came from Tottenham's Lucas Bergvall. Manchester United were not able to hold on to the lead against Real Sociedad after the goal from Manchester United's Joshua Zirkzee at the 57th minute, which resulted to the goal from Real Sociedad's Michael Oyarzabal, which led to a deadlock at the 70th minute, resulting in a 1-1 draw. Additionally, Chelsea survived the late scare to win against FC Copenhagen in the Conference League round of 16 thanks to the second half goals from Reece James and substitute Enzo Fernandez. Over to the NBA. Bulls won the Magic with a point, 125-126. The Bulls were underdogs by 7.5 points, but they were a good bet to cover the spread. The Magic have struggled without Jalen Suggs, going 10 of 18 against the point spread without him this season. Pacers lost to the Hawks, 118-124. The Pacers were favored to win, and they have been one of the best teams in the league since December 5th, with a 26-11 record and the 5th best efficiency differential. That's all for P&B Sports Update. I'm Aaron Cotton. See you next time.
Welcome back. Every March 8th, the world celebrates International Women's Day. To this effect, today on Politics and Business Television, we will be directing our focus on the International Women's Day celebrated in the past and its impacts on women and what 2025 International Women's Day themed Accelerates Action holds for women globally. International Women's Day is celebrated globally on March 8th to honor women's achievements and advocate for gender equality. In 2025, the theme is Accelerates Action, emphasizing the urgency to expedite progress toward gender parity. This theme calls for swift, decisive measures to address systemic barriers and biases affecting women in various spheres. It encourages individuals, communities, and organizations to implement effective strategies and amplify efforts that promote women's advancement. By supporting initiatives that empower women and challenge discrimination, we can collectively accelerate the journey toward a more equitable world. Joining me to discuss today's topic will be our reputable guest who will be joining us shortly after a quick break. Stay with us.